Okay, welcome to Team Call Monday, and it is, what's the date? October 7th for the month of Beat Your Best. So congrats to those who are in the Diamond Bet, Diamond Push, Diamond whatever group. And I have a group that I re-upped today, this Monday, today, where we are really trying to turn in our tracker and really trying to push to get in Success Club. So yay for all the girls who are hustling in there, because it's the hardest in the beginning. It's the hardest in the beginning when you're starting to get that momentum going. And hopefully you are not completely hearing the movie, but it is what it is. So also coming up, Super Weekend. Get to your Super Weekend. I'll say it every week. And in the team page, if you haven't done it already and you still want to, please do it. Turn in your tracker, start an album, share your why, take a picture of your tracker, because spoiler alert, this is not something that's going to go away. And if you want to do a one-on-one call with me, then let's start doing those. So we have the challenge if you're doing them in October, but just expect me to be like, okay, if you have this many trackers, we can do a call. So I am excited to have Paola on our call tonight. We have been Instagram friends for quite a bit of time now. I stalked her a long time ago and was like, I've been stalking you, I love you, and she was kind to me. But then we became friends, and we met on the cruise this year when she was pregnant, and she just had her second boy, but she's a mama and stepmama of 4, so she's very busy, and she lives in LA, and I mean, Paola can go over her stats, but she's, Lifetime Diamond, 2-star Diamond. She was Premier. I saw her at Summit 2018, and I was like, that's when she was like, I just did 80-day obsession. Like, I'm looking good. I'm on the floor with Premier. Like, I'm just rocking it. But no matter what phase of life she's going through, consistently Paola is at the top of the Success Club board. And if you do end up following her after this call, you'll notice that she is constantly inviting on her stories. Like, we kind of, I think like, oh, I don't know if I want to say it. I just said it. And Paola's like, legit, probably every 24 hours or 36 hours or something, she's like, oh, don't forget, I have my group coming up. Don't forget, I have my group coming up. And so she is rocking Success Club. But more than that, she's getting people incredible transformations. So I think she told me that she has 2 challengers that have been with her since the beginning that have like 100-pound weight loss stories. But besides just 100 pounds, like, countless transformations. And that's why what we do. That is what we do, is change people's health so they can change their lives. And so tonight, she is going to talk to us about kind of just her method on how she rocks Success Club and makes it happen. And we're going to hear all the things, take all the notes, and yeah. So Paola, will you start with like kind of telling us your story? The National Wake Up Call right now. Like, well, how did you get introduced to Beachbody? I'll unmute you.
All right. Thank you, Sam. I'm super excited. Thank you guys for having me tonight. In case you hear a baby screaming, he's right here. So I'm waiting for Dad to get home. But thank you guys for having me on. It's been 4 years. I think about the same amount of time, right? And Sam, this is you started. And so my story really started with my own personal weight loss, wanting to like do something. I had no idea what Beachbody was. I was actually following a mom on Instagram, and she was like that mom that I followed where it was all these pictures of her kids. Never probably had seen a picture of her. And I also have a 5-year-old. Yes. It's on the table, okay? Sorry. So, so I one day out of nowhere, she like literally posted her before and after 50-pound weight loss with 21-day fix. And that was in 2015. And I was like, what are you doing? And at that point in my life, I had hit like my rock bottom after having my son. So my son was 2 years old at the time. I was working full time. I was commuting 70 miles to work back home with the 2-year-old, I had 3 under 5, and it was just insane. We were literally eating fast food on a daily basis, had no idea where to start with anything. Of course, I had heard of like Herbalife and all these other crazy diets out there, but I always thought in my head, like, I don't want to do any of that. Yes. Sorry. Look in the kitchen. On the couch. On the couch. So I didn't want to do any of those, crazy diets or whatever. So when this came along, I was in shock. I asked her, what exactly is it that you're doing? I want to know. She introduced me to 21 Day Fix. Fast forward, I was like 190 pounds, didn't know where to start. I said yes to her. At that time, you guys, I had like no money. We were living paycheck to paycheck, counting every penny. We were working our butts off, and it was just like, okay, I'm going to make this investment. Had no thought of coaching. I was like, whatever. I was a corporate recruiter. I've been recruiting for 8 years now at the time. And so in my head, I was just like, let me just do this. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then whatever. I tried my best. But the first month into this, she added me to a challenge group. My coach quit the following month. Okay. She completely just went MIA, but she added me to this amazing challenge group that literally was just like all these girls there was probably 300 people in there, but my upline was like really running the group. And so they were running the group. I lost 14 pounds my first time doing 21 Day Fix. And then I literally just lost 10 pounds. So when I started sharing my journey on social media, it was solely because I wanted accountability. No one had asked me to be a coach. I joined as a discount coach only because she signed me up that way and I didn't question it. So I was that person, right? Like I didn't ask any questions. In my head, I was going to quit the next month. It was going to be what it was going to be. And 21 days later, I lost the weight. I'm feeling great. And I'm telling my husband, I have no idea how I'm going to continue paying for this shake, but I have to because I'm losing the weight and I can't stop now. And so I started sharing on Instagram for accountability because I'm the type of person that if I say I'm going to do something and I put it out there, I never want someone to come back and throw it in my face and say you didn't do it. So that's really the only reason I put it out on social media. I didn't ever want to be like that fitness person. At one point in my life, I was so annoyed when people would post all that stuff. And I talk to people now and I'm just like, people are annoyed of that. And you think people are annoyed of that because that's something that they want to be. Or have you ever like followed someone and you're just like, oh, so annoyed, but you don't know why it irks you so much? Like, it's probably because it's something that's like in the back of your head that you're like, I wish I could do that, but you're just annoying. So you like unfollow them. And I feel like we've all kind of been there. And so I know that I was. So when I started sharing on social media, it was really just like, let me just tell my story. Like I was just like, whatever. Not thinking of selling a thing, but right away, one of the girls was like, what are you doing? I had shared, I think, a transformation picture. I was down 14 pounds, 21 days in. And I was like, oh, I'm doing this 21 Day Fix. I was like the example of like the worst coach, posting like all the things, but I just did it without thinking. And so like, sometimes I feel like nowadays coaches come in, you overthink so much. And when I think of how I got started, I didn't overthink anything. Like I just really posted from my heart. I wasn't thinking about like a curated post, or I wasn't thinking about, is this the perfect picture? I was really just posting what came from me. And even to this day, 4 days later, you guys, I'm not the type of person that like figures out what post I'm going to post on what day. I post whatever feels right in the moment. And so I feel like you connect with people more because if you're thinking about, well, I'm going to curate this post, you can't really connect, with what's going on. Oh, my lifesaver. Hold on. Okay. So, so all of that just kind of started happening. 1 month in, I ended up selling like a 21 Day Fix package, not even a challenge pack, because no one had explained to me how to do any of that. I was just like that person that Googled everything. You know, like I said, my coach quit. This girl asked me, how do I get the program? I was like, there has to be a way where I can refer you to this somehow, and maybe I get something. I didn't think commission. I didn't think any of that. I actually thought I was going to get a discount on my shake. So I was like, whatever, if that's what's going to happen, I'll do it. And so I remember sending her the link. She bought the package, no Shakeology. So my first month, I made like $90. Hey, that covered my shake for the first month. And so I was like, okay. And I remember coming home and getting a check. I didn't even know there was direct deposit. So I actually got a physical first check. And I just looked at my husband, and I swear to you guys, that day was like 2 days before payday. And we had like 20 bucks to our name. And I was like, oh my God. And it was like a $50 check. And I literally looked at him and I said, this is our way out. At the time, we were living with my dad in his home with our 3 kids, commuting 70 miles to work and back. So we were just not even living. I don't call that living. We were just literally waking up and just on this freaking routine of like trying to get ahead, but we weren't getting ahead. And so I literally looked at him and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, it doesn't feel wrong. It feels so right, because I was on my own journey. All I was doing was sharing what I was doing. I wasn't selling. Like, I didn't feel icky. I didn't feel like I was like trying to sell something to people. Like, it just never felt that way, because it came so natural, because people were just being inspired by what I was doing, and I was referring them to what I was doing, and they were buying it. And so for 6 months, I just added people. I sold challenge packs. I went from like $90 a month to like 300, 400, insert disclaimer, Beachbody does not guarantee any income. You have to work your butt off for it. And so that's, you know, kind of what I did the first 6 months. But then January came along, 6 months in, and I finally said, I'm going all in. I went to my first Super Saturday. So you're talking about Super Weekend. That was such a life-changing event for me. Went to my first event, and I went with my 3 coaches. Like I said, I didn't have an upline, so I wasn't waiting for someone to pull me along. You guys, you have an amazing upline, okay? You have an upline that is actually there and like teaching you guys the way, but I didn't have that. And so I literally was just like, this is what they're saying to do. This is what we're doing. Let's go. And I took my coaches. So if you guys either have 1 coach, 2 coaches, whatever, we all start somewhere. And so at the time I had like 20 coaches, and 2 of them came with me to Super Saturday. That went from that to like literally my last Super Saturday here in LA. We were the biggest team there. I had like 30 of my PS coaches there. It was amazing. And just to think, like, 4 years previous, it was just me and my 2 other coaches, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I remember going to that event and hearing a mom go up there and talk about, she was like a top 10, I forgot her name, but she talked about how she had made 100,000 that year. And literally my jaw dropped. I had no idea at the time that like that was even possible. I was like, wait, what? You're doing what? And so for me, I was like, I'm working full time. I make a full-time income, but all this extra income helped us so much. So like our first year after that event, 2016, I decided I was going all in. I told my husband, I'm going all in. I've never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom or any of that. I've always, if I was going to stay home, I had to have my own income. I had to work. Like, I don't want anybody telling me how to spend my money. Honestly, like, that's just me. Like, I don't need to be checking in whether I can go to Target or not. I don't need to be checking in whether I can go to TJ Maxx or not. Like, my money, my rules. And so for me, I was like, but I want to stay home. Like, I want to be there for my kids, and I want to, you know, at least have that time. They grow so fast. Like, I was like, I want that. And so I worked my ass off. And so the first year went all in. We hit, like, I was running with one of my other coaches. So that was another big thing. Like, I think finding someone like Sam and Brianne, I know that you guys like run together, but you all have that capability of finding one person that you're going to connect with and run with too, and grow your team with. And so that's kind of what happened to me as well. I ran with another girl. We both were like sharing our journey, growing our Instagram, doing all of that together. And so she hit, diamond, I hit 1 star, and then that happened really quickly. But you guys, I remember that year I was on a call and someone said, once you have consistency, don't let it go. Once you have your foot on the gas, don't let it go, because it is so hard to get it back when you lose it. And so in my head, I was like, okay, like I see this growing. It was growing. I was hitting SC. I have been hitting SC10 for 46 months straight. There's no magic. There's no secret to that. It really is work and consistency. And I'm sure you guys are like, again, like tell me the secret, but there is no secret to it, you guys. It really is consistency. And to me, I tell my coaches, SC is a decision. It's a decision. There's no like, well, let's hope I make it. No, it's a decision, because for me, every single month, I know what I need to do to hit that. I know what I need to do. And I remember my first year, one of my upline coaches, who she's actually no longer a coach anymore, told me, you're new, you're doing great, you're hitting these high numbers. I mean, I was hitting SC50, SC40, like months in rows. And it was nothing special. I was really sharing. Instagram is like my thing. Instagram is like where I would connect with people, and that's where I was just sharing everything, connecting, and then selling challenge packs. And so she was like, it's not always going to be like that. 4 years later, I still hit SC40, like pretty consistent, So for me, that was like that. I'm that type of person. You put that little fuel in me, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, I'm going to run with it. I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to run with it. And so like, I've always been that way. Like, I'm going to prove that wrong, So I kind of want to talk to you guys about, so anyway, fast forward, I didn't even tell you my whole story. I ended up last year, I did hit Premier 2018. Our team pushed for 2-star, hit Premier. We were just like doing amazing, and our team totally blew up. And that the thing about Sam saying, like the ranks and all of that, the diamonds, all of that, like that definitely takes time. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You're going to have to find those people that are going to want to like run with you and do it, and really see it as like, I want to hit those goals too, But a lot of what my team it's transformations, man. We have so many of us that have lost 50, 60, 70 pounds, and not only lost it, but they have kept it off for 2, 3, 4 years since I started. And so like, they really truly are like, they breathe and live Beachbody. Like, that's just, they know how it changed. And I mean, these stories are like, one girl was like on her deathbed, and the next day she signed up and lost 150 pounds and is like a whole nother person, So like all of these, I mean, the stories are amazing. And so for me, I've always been so big. My coaches, all of my coaches have came from my own challenge groups. That's where they come from. I don't necessarily ever really find someone that just says, oh, I want to be a coach because of the income. It never comes that way. And honestly, if you have people that just want to join this because of the income, it probably will never work, because you need to be so invested in wanting to help people. You need to be so invested in like wanting to see people change their life. And so for me, that's always been my fuel. And I think because that's been my fuel, it has multiplied the way that it has. And so last year, August, I decided to quit my job. They begged me to stay part-time, but it ended up working because I was like, this is what's going to happen. I'm only working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. I'm only working till my son is in school, and then I'm picking him up. I want to be the one to drop him off and pick him up every day. And any field trips, any events, I'm there, and you can't tell me no. And they were like, okay, that's fine. Like, literally, the fact to have that freedom after working corporate for so long, and to not have that guilt feeling of like, oh my God, I have to tell them my kid is sick. Man, that feeling is like no freaking other. I don't know if you guys have worked corporate, but just to walk up to your boss and have to tell them that your kid is sick, and you feel that gut feeling, and you're like, oh my God, like, no mom should ever feel that way. No working mom should ever feel that way. And I just hated it. Like, I didn't want that anymore. And so that day I was like, this is what I'm doing. It all worked out. God works in mysterious ways. I got pregnant in October, had my baby 2 months ago. And so funny, I went in to see them just so that they could meet the baby and stuff, because I'm still technically on maternity leave. And they kind of looked at me and they were like, are you coming back? I mean, they kind of know, like, no, I'm not coming back. They've known that for a while. But she kind of hinted at me and she was like, we'll work with you, whatever you want. They've gone through like 4 people since I've been out, like in 2 months. So just to have that power of knowing, like, even if they said, we don't need you, or if I decided I don't want to go back, but I have that decision to make because of this amazing opportunity. It's insane, you know, like now I have steady income. I couldn't leave my job right away. I'm the really like, I've been like the breadwinner of our family. And so like it feels amazing to know that now I'm in a position where like I can make that choice, you know, like I don't have to go back to work. It doesn't have to be that way because this business has been so freaking amazing to me. So yeah, so it's been 4 years now, and SC is still something that like I thrive in. And I think that there has been certain things that I've done to make sure that I always hit SC, you know, at a certain time too. So number one, I had talked to Sam about this, you know, making a timeline and literally having a timeline. Like, how many of you guys have a timeline where you know when you're going to start inviting to groups, when you're going to have groups start, all of that? Like, how many of you actually write that out on a calendar? Right? Like, I know some do, most don't. And so for me, like, I am a planner freaking junkie, and my planner's in the living room. But literally, before the month starts, I look at the month and I know the day my challenge group is going to start. I know that you guys work with your uplines. The way that I work with my team too is that I have groups and I pretty much tell them, if you're not hosting your own group, you're totally open and free to join my group. So I share my timeline with my coaches, but you guys don't have to wait for your upline coaches to do any of that for you. Like, at the end of the day, this is your business and you're your own boss. You're not waiting for someone to come and tell you what to do. And so I didn't have that, you know, coming into this business. I just knew that I had to set this up for myself. And so usually I have my challenge groups start the second or third week of each month on purpose because it gives me enough time. People have this, you know, thought of the first of the month, we got to start a new group. Right? And so like everyone's already like looking to see what they're going to do because it's a new month, new goals, like mentality, you know? But for me, like I start talking about things and then I have the group start mid-month so that I have enough time to hit SC every month. It's a strategy that I just do to make sure that I hit SC. And then not only that, I'm recruiting at the beginning of the month for the group that's going to start mid-month. So for example, my challenge group is starting October 14th. I started recruiting for this group a week ago. I did a free sneak peek group last week. We started it on Monday. And so on Monday, even before that, I started talking about the sneak peek group. Hey, are you guys interested in this group? Like, if you've ever been interested in my challenges, if you've ever been interested in what I do, go into this group. Just request a follow. Like, just request to join. So I do that a lot on my Instagram. Like Sam said, like it's probably every other day or probably every 24. Once it expires, it's up again. Like it's never in the same story. That's another thing. Like I hate seeing Instagram stories where it's like the same thing. Like if you're going to repost an invite, delete your old invite, you know? But if you're not getting engagement in that old invite, maybe it was just not the right time, delete it and then post it again. Because it does not look good. It kind of looks a little desperate when you're doing it like so much and the ones before that are there. So I do that. For example, like if I posted it yesterday and I just see like it didn't really get a lot of views or whatever, I'll delete it and then I'll post it again today at 5 o'clock or whatever time that I feel I'm getting more views. So I'll do that. And so I also post the link in my bio of the free group or sneak peek group that I'm hosting, because some people will never reach out to you, but they will click on the freaking link. Like they will never send you a message and say, hey, I'm interested. Hey, I want info. They might never do that, but they might go and click on the link. And then the link will take them to the group. The way I have mine set up is I have the sneak peek group on Facebook. I have questions on Facebook. So if I do open it up to my team, which I always do, I have 2 questions. Who did you find this link through? Because all of my coaches are allowed to use the link. They can post it on their Instagram. So it asks them, where did you find it? If someone just puts Instagram, I message them and ask them who's Instagram, because I want to make sure that the person is going to the correct coach, that the correct coach knows, hey, you have a potential customer or challenger in this sneak peek. Make sure that you're touching base with them. And so if they're mine, right away, they're going to go on a list that I have. And so this sneak peek group, honestly, I feel like it's the easiest way for me to talk to people, because I can say all the information that they need to know in this group. I post prices, and then I kind of let it linger for a couple days. So right now that group has been open for a week. I opened it last week. My challenge group, mind you, does not start till next Monday. So this week is like my real hustle week, because last week I was explaining everything in my sneak group. I was messaging people, hey, I have a sneak peek going on, or people that were messaging me or that I was following up with. I was telling them, are you interested? Like, or I know that you've been interested in the past. Here's the link to a group that I'm hosting this week. Most people just want to know the prices, right? And so I always say, like, I'm posting the prices in there. Tell me more about your goals. Like, I want to know why you're interested, and I'll have conversations. I probably have about 50 conversations going on at all times. Like, and what I mean is follow up. Like, my other point is, you guys have to have a weekly and daily goal of how many people you're going to touch on a daily basis. And if you're not doing it on a daily basis, by Saturday, whatever your goal was, make sure that you get it done by Saturday. So I do have that. I have a goal of at least either re-inviting or following up with 50 people a day. And so that could be follow-ups, me just going down my list. The way that I keep track is on a Google spreadsheet. So what I will do is I'll open up my Google spreadsheet. I'll show you guys. I don't know if I can share my screen. Hold on. Oh, can I share my screen, Sam? Can you see my screen? Yeah? Okay. I'll show you guys really quick. Like this. And the reason why I do it on Google Docs is because you can take it with you everywhere. So even if you're not home, you can check it on your phone, and you're always adding people to this list. It's an ongoing follow-up list for me. Sometimes I'll just create new ones because it just depends on what I'm doing for that month. So I have, okay, so I actually started this list in September, and I have all of these people on it. And so, like I said, most of my people come from Instagram. So this list I started September, and I have 100 people on it. And so I will literally, like, polls, if I do Instagram polls, they go on this list. So once the poll is like over, I open up my Instagram poll and I look at all of the handles and I put them on here. I can search to see if they're already on here, and then I'll do follow-ups. Okay, follow-up number 1. What did they say? Money was an issue. Oh, she can't work out from home. Oh, this and that. The yellow ones that you see here are people that signed up. People don't sign up right away. Like, literally, the money is in the follow-up. If you guys are not following up with people, you're leaving money on the table. Because most people, they'll hear from someone, they get information, and then maybe even maybe you've had someone contact you about, I don't know, let's just say, I don't know, makeup or lotion or whatever that they're selling, right? You hear from them once and then they never follow up. What if you were so desperate for it at that moment and they followed up with you and you said yes? Like, they don't know that. You're leaving that on the table. People's lives are different. At the moment that they clicked on it, maybe they were interested, and then something happened in their life the next week and they said, I can't do it, or they didn't even see it. Maybe their kid opened up the freaking message, so they didn't even see your follow-up message, and you're thinking they're ignoring you. So, oh, I'm not going to message them back because they ignored me. You guys, most of my most amazing coaches and challengers have came from the 4th or 5th follow-up. And I always get a thank you so much for following up and not just like leaving me hanging. I've gotten those messages before, you guys. Just imagine, like, I don't know how you guys got here, but maybe your coach never followed up with you, or if they never like came back around to invite you again, like, you wouldn't be here probably, right? So this is what I do. I do an IG handle. If I know their name or their name is on there, I'll put it on there. And then I usually just do like a little note for myself on, when they signed up and all of this stuff. So for example, like these couple people up here, the last follow-up was on September 10th. It's October. I'm going to go down this list again today and tomorrow and re-invite and send another message. They get a follow-up message from me probably every 3 weeks. And I always, you know, and if they say not now, I do always say, can I follow up with you next month? I'm not like icky about it. I'm not like just in their face about it. I really do just say, you know, like, can I follow up with you next month? Do you mind that? Oh yeah, no, that works. Maybe next month will work. You never know. Most of the SC points that I get on a monthly basis are not from people that I just start conversations with. They are always from people that I've been talking to probably a month or 2 months. So keep that in mind. If you, like, how many of you guys actually track and have a list that if I said, pull your list out right now, let's re-invite and follow up with? Yeah, you have to, and it has to grow every day, every single day. And a lot of people say, well, how does that grow every day? For me, it's either I'm physically like talking to someone. I'm really good at engaging people on my stories with things that have nothing to do with Beachbody. Like I will do my grocery hauls. People will ask me, where'd you get that? How'd you get that? How was it? How much was it? That's so cool. They can literally just send me a heart emoji and I send them a message like, oh, thanks, you know, thanks for the love. And that's a conversation that I just started with someone new. You know, like it could be that simple. I feel like Instagram is just so simple to connect with people. And I'm organically literally growing my Instagram, you know, like I've probably grown over 10,000 like in the last 6 months, like organically. Like I've probably gone up 2,000 followers, like organically, like in 2 or 3 months. So, and then these are like actual moms that are like messaging me and connecting with me on different things. So that has to always keep growing, especially like I've been in this for 4 years. You know, you would think, oh, I saturated all my followers. Yeah, that's why you continue to grow that network. So make sure that, you know, you're always doing that. I talked about the follow-up. And then, like I said earlier, don't stop until you hit that goal, you guys. Do not slow down. Just because, for example, this month has been, these last 2 months, obviously, I have a newborn, but I'm not using it as an excuse, okay? Like, I have this goal. I have this, it's my non-negotiable. SC10 is my non-negotiable. In my head, SC10 might sound like, oh, that's a lot. It's 5 people. If I'm really working hard, if I'm really following up with 50 people a month, I should be able to sign up 5 people. And not only that, if I'm working out and showing people, hey, I can freaking do this, people should be getting inspired by me. Like, I don't make it look easy. I have 4 kids. I have a newborn, but I'm still here. Am I struggling? Hell yes. I think a big thing of mine now is like really showing people like, yes, you come on my Instagram and it's all pretty, but let me show you the reality in my stories. And so that has been a big thing for me. Like I'm connecting with a lot more people because people need to know that like, no, it's not just easy to wake up and push play and I have all the motivation in the world, because I absolutely do not have all the motivation in the world. Like motivation comes from my pre-workout, it comes from my challenge groups, it comes from me having to show up for other people, because most days I'm like, I just want to sleep with my baby. Like I don't want to do anything. And I have piles of clothes. Like this is reality, you know, like it's been sitting there all day. So like I want people to know, like, if I can do this, y'all can do this too. And I always get messages like, you know what, damn, you're right. I don't have a fucking excuse. Sorry. I don't have an excuse, you know, like it is, you're right. If you're doing it, why can I do it? And so making people really see that you're relatable and that it's relatable and that you're not just like, buy this, whatever. Like, it's not about that, you know, like we're selling literally like a lifestyle. So it's a decision. SC is a decision. If you have a goal in your head, you're not going to stop till you hit that goal. And so for me, my goal every month is SC10. Right now, I'm sitting on SC2 and I'm stressing because by the second day of the month, I always hit SC5. Like that's just like my goal, because I'm that type of person. Like I'll start having anxiety attacks over not having SC, but I know what I need to do. And so like, you need to just always know, like, you know what you need to do. You know, you need to be talking to people. You need to be doing that on a daily basis to hit that goal. And so if your non-negotiable is SC6, that's only 3 people. Stop making it seem like, oh my God, it's 3 people, or oh my God, it's 5 people. No, it's only 3. And those are 3 lives, not just as, don't think about it as points. Think about, for me, I always write down, I have this like quote that I write on my notebook every morning, and I say, you know, God, bring me those who need me and that I need. And so I put that out in the universe, and I just know, like, I need these people as much as they need me. And like my team now, my challenge groups now, like every day I'm like, man, these are the people I need in my life right now. And they clearly needed this too. And so we needed each other. And I'm really here just to inspire someone. And I can hit those goals. If you were walking into a 8 to 5 job clocking in, you have goals to hit. You have quotas to hit. I'm really sure of that. And your bosses, if you weren't hitting it, they'd probably write you up. You're your own boss. So that is your goal. That is your quota. That is your task of the month. Hit it. There is no excuse for not doing it unless you're not doing the work, really. So I think that's all I
have. I can't get you milk right now. Just literally, he hasn't said one thing to me, and then it's like I have to unmute. Okay, so I had, okay, first of all, yay, it was all the fire, all the things. I'm like writing and underlining. Gardner just opened the fridge and goes, his new thing. He like has learned to clear his throat, and that's how he's communicating with me, and it's driving me nuts. Okay, so when you were like, I don't schedule my posts, I just like, you know, whatever I'm feeling, do it. But do you know, like, oh, I need to do a call to action, or like okay, because I think that is, look at me, I'm doing this right now. I cannot get you milk. You have to wait. Sorry, you have to wait. Because we've talked a lot about like planning out your content, and like, I think it's an important, okay, and you have to remember too that Paola's been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. And so it's pretty easy. No, it is, we are in practice of kind of knowing what our struggles are. And so we know we need to handle those in our posts. So we've been talking about this exercise of like, what were you worried about before you got into a challenge group, like kind of processing that out and speaking to that person, blah, blah, blah. And so I think it's powerful to know that like, hey, as long as you know on Tuesday, like you need to put up a call to action. And if you put that into the universe and you don't have it written out, that, I don't even know where he learned that. So rude. That for me, when I do my personal development, if I know I need to say something to my followers, when I listen to my personal development, I find the words. So, and then what else was I gonna ask?
If you're stuck and you feel like I cannot inspire anybody right now, you're lacking some kind of inspiration on your own. Like you're not working on something. I know that happens to me, where I'm just like, I'm stuck. Like I don't feel inspiring. I don't feel like I can inspire someone. And so like I will turn on a million podcasts and listen to them all day till something clicks. And I'm like, that's what I need to share. Or sometimes it's just something that happens to me in the moment. And I'm like, dang, like that's what I need to share. You know, like the old me would have done this, but the new me or this person that's growing into that is going to do this. Or like, and so like, even for like, what I mean by I don't curate posts is like, I know some people like will just think about their post the day before. I can't do that unless it's a call to action. A call to action is different because if I'm trying to recruit for a challenge group or trying to kind of inspire people to say yes or message me on a challenge group, then I do post like an invite. Probably I really only do it like twice that week. I don't overdo it on my actual post. Stories, the whole nother thing. Like I will do polls and all kinds of stuff on my stories on a daily basis almost. It's probably only 1 week out of the month that I don't do it. And that'll be the week that the challenge group starts. So like the week of 10-14, I'm not really going to invite anybody because my group started. But that's the week where I kind of do that FOMO where I'm like, well, if you would have joined me, like this is what you're gonna get. Or look at all these girls that did say yes, and this is what we're doing. And then that week I'm posting like the transformation and what's going on in my other groups because I have a bunch of other challenge groups going on. And then I re-invite again at the end of the month to my next month's group. So even if you didn't hit SC for this group that's starting on 10/14, you have a chance to hit SC and invite to another group at the end of the month because you're already going to know the date for your November groups. So that's what I mean by like,
yeah, no, it makes total sense. You're just feeling the inspiration. And I think some people work better in either, you know what I mean? Like you have to find what works for you and like do it so it's so authentically you. And I hope that everyone can just hear in Paola that she unapologetically presents the challenge group because she knows it has changed her life. She knows it has changed so many other people's lives. And so when we come in as a coach, if you're like, well, I haven't changed anyone's life, we can look around in our team page and see the stories that we tell each other. And these, you know, as we're growing and our team is getting closer, like the stories that you're hearing from your fellow coaches, and you know where they were before, and it's just so powerful. And you know, besides even the business, just their health, you know.
Yeah, like don't be afraid of like connecting with each other because my coaches are really good at that, where like I'll bring in a new girl and I kind of do that a little bit myself with them because I'll sometimes tag people. Like if I see one girl is doing really good at that, I will tag another one of my challengers or my coaches to say, oh my God, I think you would totally connect with these people. I kind of play matchmaker with my coaches and my challengers. And so then they become friends. And then now we have like this whole thing where like we're tagging each other on Instagram and on Facebook. And I think other people see that and they're like, wow, they really are like a little tribe. They really are like a support system, you know, like, and that's what we're trying to show people. You don't have to do this alone.
Yeah.
You do have these tribes. There is support out there for you. And if you're open to it, then you're going to get it. And I always tell my challengers that you're going to come in, but you need to be so open-minded that I'm telling you the only people that really see this are the ones that really just let go and go all in. And they're posting in my challenge groups. They're engaging. If you're not engaging, you're not going to get what these girls get because they're engaging too, you know? So they see all of this stuff and they're like, oh, I want to be part of that. But then they come in and they're just quiet and they're not posting. So if you have challengers that like you bring in and they don't post a thing, send them a message and encourage them to do it. If they're only sending you their before and after pictures, encourage them to post it in the challenge. Because I have to push people out of their comfort zone. And I'm telling you, my best coaches are those that I've pushed out of their comfort zone. And I'll tell them, I'm that coach. I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone. I'm going to tell you, rip the Band-Aid off and just post your before and after picture because nobody freaking cares. Just do it, you know? And then once they do it, they're like, oh my God, I didn't think I was going to get all that support. And then they feel even more on fire.
It's so true. It's so true. Everything you just said was so true. Does anyone have any questions or
someone said when you're talking about the post, are you saying on your grid or your story? The curated post, I might have answered that.
So what she like Carter? No. Yeah, I think what she meant was like the call to actions. Like how often are you doing that? So she does it like 2 times a week in her posts, the grids, I guess. And then on the stories, it's almost every day. Like she'll let it expire and then put it up 24 hours later. So
I just put my IG handle up. So you can go see like today, like I didn't really know what I was going to post today, but literally on Saturday, my aunt showed me this picture of myself and I was like, oh
yeah, your transformation today was really good.
I was like, you have all the freaking fat pictures of me. Keep it up. And so like, yeah. And so to me, that was just like, this is what I'm posting.
And it's just so incredible to look back and to see where you've come from. And I think that is something that we should do more as coaches in general, is we get so, you know, in our head about like what's going on right now, this transformation, and we forget whether it was 50, you know, if you're in Morning Melts 100, if it was 50 workouts ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, 4 years ago, like that is a transformation too. So it's not always like from day one to a program to, you know, like, oh, I lost this much in this 21-day group. It's like, no, these programs work consistently over time, and I just keep bouncing to the next one, and look how far I've come through babies and moves and, you know, this and that. So
yeah. And like, even like that transformation picture today, I did not say anything about join me. I didn't, because I've been saying a lot of it on my stories. And by now, if you've been following me, you know that I do this, that I post these challenge groups, you know. And if you don't, you're probably gonna ask me, how did you do that? You know, like I don't have to be shoving it in their faces all the time, because that could be a turn off to people. Sometimes I see my coaches do that a lot, where every post is join me, and I'm like, you don't need to do that, because that will be a turn off too. You just need to let people know you can join me, but it doesn't have to be like on a daily basis on your posts. On your stories, yeah, but on your posts.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Like, it's good to almost keep them like curious or intrigued, or like, oh, okay, it's that right. There's a book called Jab, Jab, Right Hook, for anyone who's looking for the art of that. And it's like, like it's a jab, jab, and then it's this right hook, or jab, jab, and then right hook. But like, oh, here's this incredible transformation of me. Oh, here's me kicking butt in consistency. Oh, here's this tribe I'm with. Oh, boom. Do you want to join? You know what I mean? Do you want to join me? So it's that concept of, and it's by Gary Vee. And if you know who Gary Vee is, he's like this motivational guru, and he is quite motivational and will kick you into gear. But anyways, yes, thank you so much for taking time to, oh, sorry, Mickey Mouse is, I'm sorry. He is like, we have this thing, and I pulled it out of the Halloween bucket, and it's like Mickey Mouse and he dances, and there's just something about a fresh 1-year-old dancing, like that little booty bump thing. I just can't. So, yeah, if no one else has any questions, so we usually take a pic. I don't know where my phone is, so if someone could take a picture. Shannon carried it away. So yeah, Emily, get back here. Put your video on. There's Tyra. See, this is, then they come out. What? They're screaming at me for milk. They're like ridiculous terrorists. Okay, so someone else take the picture. I'll count. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll send it to you and tag. But thank you so much for taking time to talk to us, getting the fire going. Success Club is happening for every single person on this team. It is only the 7th. We have plenty of time, so much time. Not saying you should wait till the 30th, but hit it now, hit it hard. It is a decision, and I don't know, you know, if you picked this up, but she's following up with the same people. It's like a snowball. It builds. So you start with this, or a snowman, right? You have to roll the ball. And every team call after on Tuesday, like I should start taking before and afters of my house before team call. It's like the 1 hour a week that I won't get up, and they know it. He just unravels a whole parchment paper. So it's like a snowball, right? So you start, and it's like, oh, I invited my first month like 10 people, and that was scary. Oh, did it go away? What happened? Oh, you invited the 10 people, and that was really scary, but then you have 10 people to follow up with. But then the next month you realize, hey, I got to do a lot more. And you add 50 people to that list, then you have 60. And then month 3 you have 100. And then month 4 you have 150. And so
always going back.
That's how, Roxy's on this call right now. I've been inviting her for 4 years, you guys. Roxy is probably my longest invite. Like, she was like on Facebook with me in the beginning. I worked at this bar, and she was dating someone who worked with us, and she was always there, and I loved her, and it was genuine. I absolutely loved her, and I have been inviting because I stand, we stand tall with, this has changed our lives, and it will, it can, I shouldn't say it should, it will, it can change your life. So that's how it happens. So when it's not necessarily easier for me to hit Success Club because I still have to do the work. I still have to follow up. However, I've hustled for 4 years and my list is pretty long. So even there's no excuse. There's for anyone at different seasons, you can look at it as if you just brand new, this is the world is your oyster. You get to invite everybody for the first time. That's so exciting. If you've been here for 4 years, I get to follow up with 1 million people. So either way, it's a decision. You get to do it. Let's go out and feel the fire and send some invites tonight. Yay. Thank you so much, Paola. And love you guys. We'll talk soon.
Good night.